slow song filled the air, not loud, not rushed, just one like a secret meant only for two people. Jungkook held his hand out. Dance with me, he said softly. Taeyong hesitated for a second, then placed his hand in Jungkook's. The moment Jungkook pulled him closer, Taeyong he breathed heavily. They saw gently, no style, no rule, just our hearts moving together. Jungkook's hand rested at Tae's waist, firm and protective. Taeyong's finger curled into Jungkook's chin as if grounding himself. It felt unreal. Tae whispered, eyes shining. I never imagined I had have something like this. Jungkook leaned down, forehead touching Tae's. I feel lucky, he murmured. Every day I wake up and realize you choose me. Taeyong's lip parted slightly. Cookie, I feel safe with you. That was all Jungkook needed. He tilted Tae's chin up, slow, asking without words, and kissed him, not rushed, not demanding, just warm and lingering. Taeyong melted instantly, responding with quiet trust. Jungkook brushed his lips along Tae's jaw, pausing near his collarbone, pressing a soft kiss there, unhurried, reverent. Taeyong closed his eye, breathed uneven, cooking his visual was barely there. Jungkook pulled him closer, chest to chest. I'm here, he said. I'm not going anywhere. Taeyong rested his head against Jungkook's shoulder, fingers tightening slightly. I feel chosen. Tae confessed like I finally belong. Jungkook kissed his temple, then his hair. You always did. He replied quietly. You just hadn't met the person who would see it. It was past midnight when they finally reached home. The city outside was quiet. The mansion lights were dim, but Taeyong's mind was loud. He sat at the study table, laptop open, notebook scattered, pen tapping endlessly. Jungkook came out after changing hair, damp sleeves rolled. Tae, why are you still awake? He asked softly. Taeyong didn't look up. I can't decide, he murmured. There are so many topics, market expansion, mergers, tech investment. But none of them feel like me. Jungkook walked closer, leaning against the table. You don't need to sound like others, he said gently. You need to sound like Kim Taeyong. Taeyong finally looked up, eyes tired. What if they think I'm just emotional? What if they think I don't belong there? Jungkook frowned slightly and kneeled in front of him, holding his hands. Look at me, Taeyong did. You survived something most CEOs never ever imagined. Jungkook said quietly, your strength doesn't come from money. It comes from understanding people. They swallow, but vision needs logic. And heart. Jungkook replied instantly, without heart, business collapses. He paused, then his eyes sharpened slightly. What is one thing you understood better than anyone in that room? Taeyong whispered without thinking, being invisible, being used, being forgotten. Jungkook nodded, then made that your power. Jungkook pulled the chair and sat beside him. What if? Jungkook began slowly. You create a corporate ecosystem that focuses on people who are usually ignored. Taeyong tilted his head like how? Jungkook took the pen from Tae's finger and started sketching. Listen carefully. A business model where large corporations invest in rehabilitation, skill training, and employment pipelines for people from broken systems, orphanages, shelters, tracking survivors, abandoned youth. Taeyong sided why they don't get charity. Jungkook continued. They get education, certification, internship, and permanent jobs. They leaned forward. That means workforce development with dignity. Yeah, Jungkook said, and company benefits to loyal employees, reduced turnover, strong brand value, ESG compliance, sales, hit and profit. He asked carefully. Jungkook smiled. Profit grows when people feel valued. Taeyong whispered, this is something I can talk about. Jungkook nodded, because it's not a theory for you, it's life. Taeyong's fingers started moving too fast. What if I propose partnerships between universities and corporations? His excitement building, where students from disadvantaged backgrounds are sponsored, trained, and placed directly. Jungkook's eye light up, go on, and companies saw recruitment cost, governments give tax benefit, society benefit. They paused, voice softening, and people like me don't feel trained. Jungkook reached out, thumb brushing Tae's cheek. This is brilliant. Taeyong laughed nervously. You are just saying that because you love me. Jungkook shook his hand. No, he said for me. I'm saying this because one day this idea will change life. Tae's eye feels light. Cookie, thank you for not letting me feel small. Jungkook pulled him into his chair, for her resting against Tae. You were never small, he whispered. They just didn't know where to look. I think I knew the idea. Cookie, thank you so much to guide me. Next day, the auditorium was nothing than a stadium, rows upon rows of seats, bright light hanging from the ceiling, a massive screen at the front with student busy presentation, special panel glowing in bold letters, and in one quiet corner, Kim Taeyong sat, hand clenched tightly in his lap, back strained but shoulders tense. Whispers floated everywhere. Did you hear? CEO Kim Namjoon already arrived. I hear his husband Kim Seojun is with him. They say whoever impress him get a direct internship. Each word feel like a stone dropping into their chest. His fingers trembled slightly. The main door opened again. A wave of murmur rushed through the hall. They are here. CEO Kim Namjoon, Tae's breath hissed. At the entrance stood a tall, composed man in a perfectly tailored suit. Kim Namjoon. Beside him, elegant and warm, Kim Seokjin held his arm. They walked with calm authority, smiled, but their eyes were observant. Jimmy whispered, Taeyong couldn't even look properly. His vision blurred slightly. They are here, but the person I need more isn't. Serena gently took his hand. The hall slowly settled. The murmurs faded into the silence as Professor Lara stepped forward. Standing tall at the podium, her presence alone commanded respect. She smiled softly, adjusting the mic. Good afternoon, sir. Respected panelist, honored chief guest, and my brilliant student. Applause echoed through the auditorium. This presentation is not about perfection, she continued. It's about courage and originality, the ability to see problems and dare to solve them. Her eyes went across the students. You are not alone, Serena said firmly. We are right here. Jimmy nodded aggressively, and Jungkook will come. He won't miss this. Not for the world. Tay nodded, but his heart refused to believe. The announcer's voice echoed. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat. Presentation will begin shortly. Tay's name was on the list. Then Jungkook came, stood there slightly breathless, suit jacket still unbuttoned, eyes already searching. The moment their eyes meet, Taeyong's soul stared. Jungkook didn't smile lightly, didn't wave, he just nodded a simple nod that said, I'm here, you are safe, you can do this. Tae's lip trembled, tears burned, but he blinked them back. Jimin grinned, see your man came running. Jungkook slipped into the seat just behind us, Sugar beside him, whispering urgently. Today, 5 students will present their business model. A pause. Each of them has shown dedication, growth, and resilience. Taeyong's fingers curled around the fabric of his pen. Please pay. Professor Lara glanced at the card in her hand. Our fifth presenter is the entire hall held its breath. Kim Taeyong, a soft wave of whisper rippled through the room. Taeyong stood for one terrifying second. His leg refused to move, then shook. His eye pounded so hard it felt like the mic could pick it up. Jimmy whispered gently, you have got this, Tae. Suddenly squeezed him. Remember, this is your story. From behind, Jungkook's voice reached him, low, steady, grounding. Walk like the world already belongs to you. Tae inhaled deep, slow, then stepped forward. Each step towards the edge stage felt heavy yet powerful. The light hit him bright, warm, and suddenly shake stopped, his shoulders telling, his chin lifted. There was something in his now, a quiet confidence earned through pain, survival, and learning. Kim Namjoon sitting among the panelists leaned back slightly, his sharp eyes narrowed, not in judgment but curiosity, interesting in his thoughts. That voice has present. Taeyong reached the podium. He placed his note down carefully, adjusted the mic. His finger trembled once, then still he looked up all the crowd at the panel, at Jungkook watching like nothing else existed. And then Taeyong spoke. Good afternoon, he said. His voice was calm, clear, steady, not loud, but strong enough to silence the room. My name is Kim Taeyong, a pause, and today I am not here to present a perfect business model. A faint smile curved his lips. I am here to present a necessary one. Kim Namjoon leaned forward now. The room was listening. Taeyong's continued confidence flowing naturally. This idea comes from observation. His eye briefly darkened. It comes from watching how people are overlooked, unheard, and pushed aside by systems that were never built for them. Jungkook jaw tightened. That's my Taeyong. Project Aurora. Restoring dignity through economic access. A soft murmur passed through the hall. Taeyong spoke calmly before explaining the number. He said, I want to ask one question. He looked directly at the panel. How many of you walked past someone talented but ignored them because they didn't look polished enough? Silence. Kim Namjoon's finger is still against the table. Taeyong continued. There are millions of people who are capable, but they lack three things: identity, safety, and opportunity. He changed the slide. Images appear. Informal workers, small artisans, people without documentation, youth from shelters, women and micro businesses. And my models create a verified bridge between marginalized talents and global corporations. Another clip. Kim Namjoon leaned forward fully now. And how? Namjoon asked calmly, do you ensure scalability without corruption? Taeyong didn't rush. We removed discretion. He replied, everything run on transparent metrics, performance-based contract, AI audits, and public accountability dashboards are built. And most importantly, they added softly, we let people choose choices, restore dignity. Kim Namjoon spoke again. You are proposing a system that challenges labor markets, compliance laws, and corporate ethics all at once. Taeyong made his gaze. Yes, sir. While Namjoon a pause. Taeyong swallowed but didn't break because profit without humanity, he said, is just a legalized cruelty. Teacher Lara placed her hand over her heart. Then Kim Namjoon stood. The entire panel followed. One by one, the hall erupted. Applause thundered through the auditorium. Students stood, faculty stood, even people who had whispered earlier now clapped with awe. Taeyong froze for 1 second. Then his eyes filled not with fear. Jungkook stood too, clapping harder than anyone, pride shining openly. Taeyong bowed slightly, not because he felt small, just because he felt grateful. Kim Namjoon spoke into the mic. Kim Taeyong, he said firmly, you didn't present a business idea, a pause, you present a future. The hall erupted again. After a while, the applause slowly died down, but the energy didn't. Kim Namjoon stepped forward again, this time not as a judge, but as someone genuinely impressed. Beside him stood Kim Namjoon, calm, observant, eyes warm with quiet pride. Namjoon spoke into the mic. Kim Taeyong. Taeyong still instinctively, yes sir. Namjoon exchanged a brief glance with Jin. Jin nodded. Jin nodded. Namjoon smiled, not corporate, not rehearsal. On behalf of King Global Venture, I would like to offer you a dollar internship proposition. The hall guest, not a competition win, not a maybe an offer. Not because of your name, Namjoon continued firmly, but because of your mind. Jin added gently, stepping closer to the mic, and because leader like to remind us why businesses should exist in the first place. Taeyong's lip parted. His voice cracked slightly. I would be honored. Namjoon nodded. We will talk details soon. Then soft and almost personal. Don't lose this fire. Backstage, Taeyong slipped into the quiet hallway behind the stage. The moment the door closed, his knees buckled. He leaned against the wall, breathing hard. His hand trembled violently now. The adrenaline crashing. I didn't mess up. He whispered to himself. I didn't mess up. Before he could sing further, arm wrapped around him. Jungkook, he didn't speak immediately. He just held him chest to chest, heart to heart. Taeyong breathed his face into Jungkook's shoulder. I was so scared. They whispered, voice breaking at last. My legs, they were shaking the whole time. Jungkook tightened his hold, but he stood anyways. He murmured, you spoke anyways. His finger curled into Jungkook's jacket. What if I was not good enough? He sobbed quietly. What if they saw right through me? Jungkook pulled back just enough to look at him. They stood for you, Taeyong. He said firmly. They listened because you mattered. Then softer. And I have always known you mattered, baby. Taeyong nodded weakly. I want to do more. He said softly. I want to build this for real. Jungkook smiled through his own emotions. And I will stand beside you. He promised. Not ahead, not behind. He kissed Tae's forward. Slow grounding. You didn't just grow today. Jungkook whispered. You arrived. Taeyong closed his eye, breathing finally steady. 3 days later, morning sunlight filtered through the curtains. Today's Taeyong has his first day as intern and he kinda nervous. He sat at the small desk, flipping through a notebook filled with neat handwriting, key principles, value chain, stakeholder mapping. He muted softly, eyes slowly moving as he memorized. Jungkook stood behind him, adjusting Tae's tie. You are going to wrinkle if this you keep learning forward. Jungkook sighed lightly. Tae smiled nervously. I just don't want to forget anything. He replied, what if they ask something and my mind goes blank? Then Tae's phone buzzed. Jimin, our superstar intern, go rule the world. Serena, you are ready. Don't shrink yourself. Tae smiled softly. I'm trying my best. He whispered. Jungkook kissed his forehead. That's all anyone can ask. In Kim's company, Taeyong, the voice was gentle. He looked up to see Kim Seokjin smile brightly. There you are, Jin said warmly. I was worried you had get lost in this maze. Tae was slightly startled. Good morning, sir. Jin waved it off. Call me Jin. Today you are not here to be afraid. He noticed Tae's tense posture and softened his tone. First days are overwhelming, Jin said, placing a light hand on Tae's waist. But you are safe here. Tae felt something ease inside his chest. Thank you, he whispered. Jin smiled. Come, Namjoon's waiting, and the other instant too. The cabin was spacious but calm. Several interns sat around the table, some confused, some clearly nervous. A few smiled. Hi, hello, nice to meet you. Taeyong nodded shyly. Hello, Namjoon entered, present, commanding, but not cold. Good morning, he said. Everyone straightened. His gaze settled on Taeyong for a brief second, not a special treatment, just acknowledgement. Before we begin, Namjoon said, I want to clear here, ideas matter more than titles. He looked around the room. You are intern, yes, but today you are also thinkers. You will be divided into teams, Namjoon said. Each team will analyze one underperforming international market. He paused. I don't want excuse, I want insight. Jin added gently. Focus on why things fail, not just what failed. Namjoon's eye returned to Taeyong, and Taeyong, yes. I want you to lead the cultural analysis, Namjoon said. Your presentation yesterday tell me you understand people. Tae's breathed. I will do my best. Namjoon nodded. That's all I expect. This internship will not be symbolic. He said, family, you will work, you will fail, you will be questioned. They swallowed, then made his gaze. I'm ready. He said, I don't expect it to be easy. Namjoon smiled faintly. Good, then welcome to Kim Global Ventures. As they dispersed, Taeyong exhaled slowly. I belong here. He realized not because of who loved him, but because he had something to offer. And somewhere across the city, after arranging meetings, signing file, and closing deal, Jungkook finally checked his phone. A message waited. Jungkook, how are you doing? I'm always with you, baby. Don't forget that. Taeyong stared at the screen longer than necessary. A small smile curved his lip. His finger typed back quickly. Taeyong, I was scared, but I did okay. They listened, Cookie, almost instantly. Jungkook, of course they did. I told you when you speak, people. The cafeteria was softly with conversation. Taeyong sat with the other intern, opening his lunch slowly before he could take a bite. Taeyong, he looked up to see Jin holding 2 cups of coffee. You skipped breakfast, didn't you? Jin asked knowingly. Taeyong blinked. Yes. Jin placed the cup in front of him, saying, you can't change the world on an empty stomach. Taeyong smiled shyly. Thank you, Jin. Namjoon joined the moment later, losing his time. I reviewed the note you submitted already. Namjoon said casually. Taeyong studied immediately. Oh, was something wrong? Namjoon shook his head, quite the opposite. Jin leaned against the table, smiled proudly. You didn't just finish the task. Jin, you expanded it. Taeyong lowered his gaze, embarrassed. I just thought if we don't understand people, the numbers won't matter. Namjoon studied him for a moment. Then mindset, he said slowly, is what companies forget when they grow too far. He placed a hand slightly on the table. You worked hard today. Taeyong just said, thank you, sir. Namjoon glanced at Jin. Jin nodded. Namjoon turned back to the intern. We will wrap things early today, he announced. Consider this a reward, not a break. The intern murmured in surprise. Namjoon's gaze lingered briefly on Taeyong. Come back tomorrow with the same sincerity. Jin added warmly. And maybe we got some rest. First day should be remembered kindly. Taeyong bowed slightly. I will thank you, both of you. As Sam walked out the building, sunlight warming his face, his phone buzzed again. Jungkook, proud of you. Come home, I will make dinner. Taeyong smiled, eyes soft for the first time in a long while. Work didn't feel heavy, the world didn't feel threatening. It felt possible. 2 weeks later, Namjoon called Taeyong in again. Jin was already there. Taeyong said, stay never, we have been observing you. Namjoon said, they nodded. Jin smiled, you ask questions, you correct yourself, you don't shrink. Namjoon slid a document across the table. We would like to extend your internship into a permanent analyst position. He said, part-time during your study, full-time after graduation. They bowed deeply. Thank you, he said, voice thick. I won't disappoint you. Jin nodded softly. We don't expect perfection. Namjoon finished. We expect honesty. You have proven that. In the night, Taeyong curled beside Jungkook on the couch. They offered me a position. He whispered. Jungkook sounded around me. I know, he said. I saw it coming. They smiled sleepily. The meeting room was full, skin laid, graphs steady, eyes attentive. Thelma stood at the head of the table, not shaken, not hesitant. Rosa Aurora phase one. He began calmly. This is about expansion, it's about integration. Namjoon voice quietly, Jin folded his eyes, smiling. Taeyong pointed at the screen. We don't enter communities as corporations, they said. We enter as listener first, a senior analytic spoke, and the rest they didn't rush. The risk is pretending neutrality exists. He replied, so we partner locally, hire locally, decide locally. Silence then. Namjoon leaned back that he said is leadership. By the end of the presentation, approval was unanimous. Namjoon stood. Project lead came down. The night grew quieter. Balcony doors open, city lights breathing. Taeyong leaned against the railing, exhaling. I was scared by presentation, he admitted. What if they didn't take me seriously? Jungkook stepped closer, but they did, he said softly, because he believed in what you say. Stay with me, he whispered right here. Jungkook didn't answer with words. He closed the distant hands at his forehead touching. You don't ask for much, Jungkook murmured, but I have given you everything. Then their lips met, slow, lingering, not rushed, not desperate. Taeyong's fingers slid under Jungkook's jacket, keeping him closer. I felt shivers. They stepped quietly in ways I never knew existed. You don't have to be strong with me, he whispered ever. Taeyong's voice softened, then don't let go. Jungkook didn't. He guided Taeyong inside, hand warm, present, grounding. They were close and speaking louder than any words. The door closed gently behind them. The city kept glowing.